Hey, it's 7:42 a.m. and I fell asleep for a little bit, but it looks like I'm ready to get up and start my day. It looks like I think the maintenance person's here to work on the air conditioner. Talk about early risers, man, they got here early. So I guess I'm gonna make my bed and start cleaning up a little bit and start my day. But I wanted to make this video about hoovering. And hoovering relates to people who, for example, domestic stalkers. And once you make an attempt to get them out of your life, they kind of hang around. Like they hang around in ways where they might continue to stalk you in ways where, in different ways, like there was this one girl who used to do YouTube videos. I'm sure she still does, but she was like a waitress or a bartender or something like that in a like a little establishment. And her family would come in knowing that she didn't have a good relationship with her family. They would come in or send people that they used to know into the bar, and I understand that stuff happens. But it's a way of hoovering to continue to be a part of a person's life when this person has made several attempts and made it known that they want nothing to do with them, especially when they have caused a traumatizing situation and it has become too overwhelming for you to be able to handle that sort of interaction. And it's hard when people use you as a scapegoat, or they build their reputation off of your misfortunes or the abuse, whatever. In this case, I myself have been in that situation. They they don't know how to deal or survive without the connection, because their lives basically have revolved around building their reputation and building friendships and building partnerships off of your abuse in some way or another. So, like, in this case, I have worked several jobs where these people have been involved or infiltrated or arranged or whatever, and it has been absolutely devastating. So I've made attempts to say, hey, I don't want any sort of association with you. So what they will do is, in this case, you meet people online, and then they come in and then they influence the people that you're talking to online. Now, I had mentioned that I had met someone online. It was a TI, a targeted individual. And when it comes to, friendships on a distance, especially TIs, I'm willing to talk to anyone that's male or female, because there's a distance there. And I'm looking only for friendship, people who can relate to what it's like to be monitored, people who knows what it's like to deal with workplace mobbings, people who know what it's like to deal with dysfunctional families that create abuse. So these sort of relationships or friendships that I'm looking for are very important, because you need to have that one-on-one. You need to be around people who you can relate to. And I believe this person I was speaking to, and I do suspect that this person I was speaking to, this friendship got sabotaged by someone in, whether my family or someone who is associated with my family. And it's important for me to establish my own friendships independent of their influence and their abuse. And so that's why I have to be careful. When I seek out TIs, targeted individuals, I do so because, like I said, you need somebody who's going to be able to relate to. And it's unfortunate, because I thought this person was a nice guy. But I also know I have to protect myself from further feelings of trauma. And, certain things, like the last video I made is called triggers. Triggers are when something negative or devastating or traumatizing has happened, and something comes up to bring all of that up again. And you know, when people refer to me as you know, that doesn't necessarily cause a trigger, but you would wonder why someone would try to abbreviate your name. And so, you know, I'm not, you know, and maybe it's a coincidence. Who's to say? I don't know. But I have to be open to the possibility that my family has sabotaged that particular friendship that I had. And, you know, you can't isolate a person and abuse a person to this sort of extent. And it's wrong. I need to have, you know, friendships or people that I can talk to, right? And I don't want them associated with my family. For people who never experienced a dysfunctional family like this, I will tell you that most professionals who deal with narcissistic, who talk about narcissistic people, typically, you know, support the idea of going no contact, and that's what I choose to do. And I mean that, and it's hard for these people to understand it because they have such a attachment to me. One that's attached, that the attachment that they have to me is not one of love. It's more of obsession, or one of yeah, it's obsession. It's obsessive, and it's compulsive, and it's a controlling sort of relationship that I'm not, you know, especially at this age, I'm not interested in continuing, you know. So it disturbs me because, you know, obviously people need to have, you know, interaction with people, but I have to feel safe, and I don't feel safe, you know. So anyway, yeah, so that's one of the terms they call it. I don't know exactly how that name got started, hoovering, but it's basically somebody who's just kind of hanging around, you know, still kind of stalking. And I will tell you that their vibes to me are very creepy. Like, I feel creeped out by these people. And I know they don't understand my need to be away from them, but they haven't experienced what I experienced. And aside from that, I see how different my family and I are. And I don't agree with their way of living, although I know that they have said that they don't agree with my way of living. And the two cannot be reconciled. Like, I cannot condone the way that they view things, mainly because it goes against everything that I believe in. Like, I believe people have the right to their own religious beliefs, and whatever that religious belief is. And I don't believe that people should enforce those things. They didn't respect the fact that I wanted to leave the marriage that to me was abusive and a little weird. So then they tried to force it. They don't respect my will, and they try to, you know, influence my decisions in a way that is extremely abusive, and I've had enough of it. And I want to feel safe. You know, I want to feel safe. Like, I don't want to have to worry about people that I meet and people that I want to be friends with, and knowing that somehow it's become tainted, or even, what's the word that I'm using for? It has become just defiled, you know, because of something that was unpleasant became a part of that friendship. And you know, so it's important, you know. So there's been people that I've contacted online that I was interested in talking to, and, you know, originally we start off in good terms, and then I think that my family uses, you know, their power of persuasion to talk to these people. And I'm going to tell you, if you're subscribed to my channel and you get contacted by someone, they are perps. And you should not, you know, you got to understand that as a targeted individual, you may have people who watch your videos, okay? And because they're your perpetrators, they in turn are going to watch who you're talking to, and then they're going to want to contact these people to talk to them. And it could happen to you. So some of the people that I had a good rapport with who don't really follow up with emails or whatever, this is what's going on. You know, you're dealing with people, members of my family who are perpetrators, and they have done me absolutely no good throughout my entire life. So I have a lot of things I have to take care of in my life, and I want to proceed in life um, according to my goals in life. And my goals in life are basically just to get through it. Like I know that I want to, see my son accomplish whatever it is that he wants. Okay, I don't control his dreams, his ambitions, but whatever he sets forth, I want to see that come to fruition. I don't, people want to continuously, I guess, visualize me with somebody or whatever. Number one, I don't want to get involved with a relationship, but also another important factor is that I don't want to get involved with the relationship in addition to having this person be in some sort of interaction with my family. And it's important that I keep my family's energies, their lifestyle, their opinions as far away from me as I possibly can, because I am in direct opposition to everything that these people represent. I don't believe in their lifestyle, particularly their views on religion and their views on just everything. I mean, we're completely opposite. And, initially I knew that we were different, but I didn't realize that they were um, had a campaign against me. And I accepted them for who they were. But when you interfere with my life, when you abuse me in this sort of manner, that is where I draw the line. And it's not for me to dredge up old issues. It's just that, I find people's behavior strange, and it makes me kind of question what's going on around me. And so, and it's not, I don't want to keep an argument going. I don't, but at the same time, I want to see improvements in my life. I want to meet the right people in my life. I want to form friendships, and they need to be independent of the relationship that I had in my past. I don't want to bring my past forward into this new life that I'm choosing to live for myself. It's important for me to sever ties with what I've had in the past because it was a traumatic experience for me. And I don't want to have double agents as friends. I want to have friends who respect the friendship that I have with them. And especially when you're a targeted individual, you want to make sure that those particular lines of communication are open, and it's understood that there's no infiltration. Like, you're going to respect my privacy, my rights, and you're not going to do the same thing that other perps do to you, because that's exactly what it is. Okay, and that's exactly what it is. And you'll be surprised how many targeted individuals can actually behave just like a perpetrator easily. Okay, and so I'm trying to rebuild my life and pick back up where I left off and rebuild my life back. And it's important that I do that without my family. And, some people might think, oh, Rashawn's a good guy. People act differently with other people. Just like, if I'm talking to the next door neighbor, I'm going to speak to him in this tone of voice, okay? When I talk to my son, even though my son's grown, I always talk to him in a very soft, loving voice, almost like I'm pampering or whatever, because we're different people in different situations. We're the same person, but we act differently with different people. And so, my family, particularly, I'm assuming my brother Rashawn, he likes to get attention. He's always been that way. And um, he doesn't know me really as an adult, but he has always been somebody who has been very forceful, someone who's always been quite bullying in his behavior. Even when I was growing up, I remember doing certain things and things that were like not even controversial. Like I remember walking down the hallway and reading a magazine, and he wanted to know what that magazine was. He needed to know what that magazine was. And it was like he has this, it's just this, that whole thing about the bullying behavior that that has been very, you know, played a big role in my family. And so as an adult, as someone who's over the age of 18, I choose not to deal with it. And I have been trying to rebuild my life only to have these people come in and infiltrate relationships that I tend to form online. And I'm reluctant to make friends, you know, in my area right now because I know that there's still that little energy going on a little bit. It's going on in the community, and so I turned on going online to talk to people, and they use this opportunity as a way to try to get close to me. I don't want to be close to them. I'm always going to fight them, meaning it's like I'm repelled. It's like, you know, when you put two magnets in the opposite direction, how they start to not come together. They start to want to force themselves apart. They don't connect at that point. And at this point, I feel like, you know, and even if they are sorry, even if sometimes things happen in people's lives that has become so traumatizing that people cannot deal with it anymore. And that's how it's gotten with me. And I feel as though if people really cared about me, if they really cared, they would leave and get out of my life. And that's pretty much the way I want it to be. I don't want to work their jobs, mainly because I need to work a job where I'm in an environment where I can just do my work. My work can be appreciated, and I don't want any sort of political game strategy. I'm not interested in matchmaking, getting married, or any sort of religious issue. I just, if I get hired to do process payables, then I want to process those payables. If it's about filing, then I want to file. If it's data entry, then I want to do data entry. I don't want to be hired for any other reason other than that. And that's just the way it is, you know. And you know, I when I go into a job interview, I dress professionally. I wear, you know, the jacket, the whatever, and I present myself professionally. I'm there to get a job. And I think some people, you know, it's not that I'm not somebody who's like a goody two shoes to where I'm like, you know, I'm so adamant about my job and, you know, I don't have a sense of humor or anything like that. I do have a sense of humor, okay? But the way that they have established my my work is where I need something that is going to allow me to work, and I would like to, if they're concerned about me going back to school and getting that bachelor's degree, I'm going to tell you it's very difficult to go back into school. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go back to school, like right away. I wanted to go back to school. But it's very hard to go back to school when you've lost faith in the employment sector. Like, you wonder, you know, you need a job, and you wonder, okay, if I was to get a bachelor's degree, would that make a difference? Would it make a difference? When, you know, I don't know anymore. And I feel like this whole issue has really discouraged me and made me look at things in a negative light. It hasn't given me any encouragement at all. It has made me very negative. But I understand that, you know, most jobs, if you want to get yourself established, like you want to be like a CPA, or you want to be a lawyer, you want to, whatever it is you want to be, you know, to get that, you have to have, you know, the bachelor's degree. And, you know, I need a job that's going to allow me to work hours. And then as time goes on, you know, once I get established, I'm comfortable there, maybe I can go back to school. And once I go back to school, then maybe I could find something that's stable, you know. But I have to find a job where I can at least work, you know, and build myself up. And I don't want, and I disassociate. I need people to disassociate this bullshit about, you know, finding relationships at work. I don't believe in that. Okay? I don't want to involve myself in that. I need to think my future is now. Like, you know, I'm an older person and I need to think about, you know, they've already messed up my jobs to where I can't think about retiring or anything like that. I don't have any of those comforts, right? And so I don't, I just want a job. You know what I mean? I just want a job, and where I'm going to be, um, um, you know, focusing on what it is that I'm supposed to do instead of, you know, the song and dance drama. And I'm sorry, you know, if people think that I'm, you know, you're so touchy about that. I wouldn't be so touchy about it if it didn't last for so long. I wouldn't be so touchy about it if these people didn't show the amount of greed and selfishness that they did. You know, like giving me jobs to where I've gained no benefit from it. And then they expect me to follow ridiculous rules that deprive me of my rights. And then I'm supposed to just work a job and find no enjoyment and get no benefit out of it at all. You know, those kind of arrangements are obviously human trafficking. And so what is that? That's very demoralizing to anybody who works that job. That's like, you know, if you worked a job and they told you where to go to shop, what to get, what to buy, what not to buy, who you can be friends with, blah 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 blah. I mean, and you're like, well, what am I working for? You're not working for anything. It's not benefiting you in any way. You are just basically pleasing other people, but you get no benefit whatsoever. And so you think, well, you're making money. Well, what difference does it make if you make money if they're bitching about where you shop? Now, I would like to say, you know, how people they bitched about me going to Trader Joe's. There's a lot of things that are far less expensive at Trader Joe's than they are at the regular grocery store. And, you know, I think they think, well, you know, she lives such a, she's living such a luxurious life. I don't have a luxurious life. Most of my things are secondhand, or in these little pieces of furniture that I bought to furnish my last apartment were like Amazon deals, you know, where like they were like $19 for like a, you know, a bookshelf or something. You know, I don't have anything expensive, so I don't live, you know, a luxurious life. You know, so I just think you know, you don't want to work for people who are unreasonable. And I don't want these people as business partners, okay? I know there's other people out there who find their own jobs. I do think it's much easier if you have somebody who can get you into a company. I think that's wonderful for people who have that ability to do that. That's wonderful. But these people slow down the process. They make the whole issue very demoralizing. I'm not interested in working their jobs. I cannot function in a manner that they want me to function, meaning, you know, I don't want to be, you know, surrounded by gossip. I don't want people like looking at what I eat. I don't want, nobody should have to work like that. Nobody should, you know. And it has become something that I dread it. You know, I don't want it. You know, I hated working over there at that place in Button Willow. I hated it. It was really boring. Yes, I got to be by myself a lot, and you know, I can be by myself or work with people, but the job didn't have enough to do, and it's very emotionally, um, it's very painful to work and be isolated in the manner that I was isolated, and based off their own jealousy. Like they were punishing me for what I think they were punishing me for is the way that I dressed, and the way I dress for work is appropriate. Now I did get a little bit loose, cut loose there, because I was by myself, and I figured, well, I'm by myself, I might as well do what I wanted to. But when it comes to a regular professional office, I know how to dress for work, you know. And to sit here and like try to monopolize and spy on me on my free time, which I have the right to do. I think people understand what I'm trying to say, and I've been going on and on about it, but I'm disturbed by these people, and I want them as far away as I possibly can get them. And I don't want to be hoovered. I want a new life without these people. And I've worked for so many years, and now I want a life that is meant for me, the life that I was meant to live. I don't want to relive any of the trauma that I had to live through. And I want to build my life, you know, based off my vision. I want friends that I can trust. I want to be around people that don't have split minds, that cannot be convinced to, if they are somebody who is being monitored or being bullied, then they can't be open to that sort of mind control, and I don't want to assume things, but it just, you just don't feel safe anymore. And that's the way it is. These people are domestic stalkers, whether they want to see themselves that way or not. And if they are sorry, then be sorry, okay? But also accept the fact that your actions, okay, proved to me that this is what you are, and that you make me uncomfortable, and that if you care about me, then let me go, and let me live my life, and let me go on with my life, and let me forget you. And it should be that way, because there's no desire for me to look at you as my family, I don't have any fond feelings or any sort of sentimental attachment to you. To me, you put yourself, you seem like you're in a cult. You condone certain perversions that I don't believe in. You were forceful in trying to make me live a life that I didn't want. And these sort of characteristics has put a distance between me and you. Okay, you went too far, and it went on too long, and I'm asking you to leave me alone. Now, I don't want to continue this, but I don't want to wake up at night with this sort of anxiety anymore. And I don't want to have to encounter it through other people. Meaning, I don't know what happened to that guy, but I'm not the kind of person going to continue calling. If something weird happens, then I just kind of wait it out. But at the same time, I don't want to be reminded or have triggers, because these things are triggers to me. They are triggers to me. And they will keep me up at night, and they will make me consumed with anxiety, because I look at my outlook on life is I want to live my life, and I want to be happy, and I want to surround myself with people that I want to be around. And then I keep thinking, well, if I have to be surrounded by you, then I cannot be happy. And it makes me feel like I have nothing to live for. Like, I don't want it anymore. So please stay away from me. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I hope all TIs have a wonderful day. Take care.